Quentin can't get enough of Shelby, while Harper and Robyn are seemingly approaching a crossroads in their lives. Lance might be ready to move forward positively, but the woman who caught his eye is unavailable. Welcome to Arrogant Bae TV, the main channel for your good sis you love to talk TV with. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out, because I think you're going to love it here as I do a deep dive into the final installment in the Best Man franchise. Also, on Arrogant Bae TV 2, my second and equally popular channel, we are dropping more heat, having dope informal conversations, and just giving you more content because it's never too much, right? And in this video, we are going to talk about The Best Man, the final chapters, the limited series streaming on Peacock right now. Season 1, only 1, episode number 2. Let's go ahead and get into it. Episode 2 just continues to prove my point, y'all, that this is basically an 8-hour movie and not necessarily a television show. So much happens in this episode, but the crux, the meat and potatoes of it is Shelby and Quentin. Quentin and Shelby, the two arch nemesis turned lovers. And yes, I got my question answered. So if y'all watch my breakdown for episode number 1, I asked the question was if Quentin is the father of Shelby's child, because that's what they alluded to in Best Man Holiday, but we never really got the answer. And now we do. In this episode, we get the answer. Shelby reveals to Quentin right before they make the phone call after their wedding to her daughter that he is actually her father. And just when I thought that this was going to be another reason to send them back into their fighting regardless of their recent nuptials, shout out to the swap out of Ziamara right in for Shelby, and they just went right on ahead with the wedding. Quentin just rolled with it and seemed overjoyed with the idea that this is his daughter, regardless of the fact that Shelby has kept this from him for quite a while, because little baby is grown. Well, not really, but she like 11 to 13 or something like that, y'all. She's older. Now, before I jump ahead of myself in this episode, as I mentioned, Quentin and Shelby are the ones who actually wound up married, regardless of the fact that he was initially engaged to the unicorn who makes her exit in this episode, but not before we have quite a few run-ins with her and Shelby, which I thought were brilliant comedically as well as story-wise. They're literally having their like one-off. So like Quentin goes ahead and sleeps with Shelby after they have their little argument when she arrives and makes her grand debut. And then the next day, Shelby thinks that she has one up on Ziamara, but Ziamara's like, girl, I already knew. And how my you know what taste? Okay, got it, cool. What I will say is like the first fight with Shelby and Q, it brought back so much great nostalgia. I think that they are doing a great job of infusing both the original film as well as the highly anticipated follow-up into this series, and it's moments like this that remind you of like, okay, this is exactly what the film felt like. Now, aside from Quentin and Shelby, who I'm going to come back to in a second, Lance is, I guess, going to start getting his shit together. The top of this episode, he starts to have visions of being there with Mia and what that would be like. So I love that we get to have a little bit of cameo from the actress who played her in this vision, even if just for a moment, who quickly turns into Jasmine, the amazing concierge who piqued Lance's interest thus far. And then we get to see that it's neither one of these women, it's some other rando that he has back at his hotel room. And over the course of this episode, we get to see him try to get closer to Jasmine. While he's doing so, he's able to reveal a little bit more feelings about his grief for his lost wife, his feelings of lost or being lost and moving forward. And Jasmine is able to be a really solid support system up until she reveals that she's actually engaged, which I thought initially was going to stop him from like wanting to engage with her, wanting to do these little runs on the beach, but he still goes for it. And I'm like, okay, sir, maybe because y'all only here for this wedding, you just gonna go ahead and enjoy this feeling. This is a very different feeling, even though you're struggling with getting your little member up. And I think it's because he started to have feelings for Jasmine, he couldn't necessarily start performing anymore for all these little random people. But you're starting to have real feelings, real connection with another woman that is not Mia, which feels good for you. She makes a point at the top of the mountain during their like first run, that he should probably start to focus on some things that will make him proud, since he's not proud of his behavior and his actions thus far, and also make Mia proud. And I'm like, yes, somebody coming in and saying everything that needs to be said. Because while I get like your bros are really just trying to support you and it's not necessarily about Lance in this moment, I do feel like everybody is just turning a blind eye to Lance's hoeing, and it's not good for him regardless. Like, it's not just something that men do. It's specifically not, it's not a healthy way for him to move through his grief and to start to heal, and none of them are saying anything. So Jasmine is coming in at the perfect time. I do love that they did not make Jasmine an immediate like rebound and love interest, and that she's already off the market, which forces Lance to reevaluate his feelings, reevaluate his proximity to her, and I guess start to draw on something a little bit more platonic that might be calling him from her, even though I still feel like he's very much so interested in her. When she reveals that she's engaged, it's something that he takes a beat with, but he's still very much so interested. But I think what they're trying to do with that is like put him in a position to not just sexually and romantically be desiring women, and to work his way back to the place that he said he is never going to go, because we saw in episode 1 him talk about he don't never want to love that deep or love that hard anymore. He ain't never doing that again. And it's like, sir, never say never. Murch also at the top of the episode apologizes to Candace, but ultimately by the end of the episode gets his way. He gets to boot Harper out of the best man spot, and he becomes best man. He's the one who helps Candace coordinate Shelby popping in and taking over the bachelor party. And child, when Shelby came in talking about Candace, I need you, and she didn't try to bribe her with every spa service she could possibly think of, I was like, girl, what could you have possibly needed Candace for? You don't like her and she don't like you. But of course, she asked for Candace to jump back into her stripper bag and give her some moves so that she can go and seduce her man at his bachelorette party. At his bachelor party. You know what? I like the way you think, Shelbs. It's given, girl. Now, all the way up through the episode, towards the end of the episode, none of these things are really working. Like, she's getting a little win where she gets to sleep with Quentin right as soon as she arrived. They had a little moment. She shows up at the bachelor party. She does a little dance. He is thoroughly enjoying it, but he's also still fighting his true feelings and lying about it. So it comes to a point or ahead in this episode where Harper and Xiomara have to send Shelby on her way. They book her a ticket, tell her that she got to go after the whole bachelor party stunt and that she's embarrassing herself. And I was just like, I mean, sis is going a little bit hard in the paint, but where is she embarrassing? Because that bachelor dance was given. Okay, she seemed like she belonged, and Quentin definitely enjoyed it, but that's how we knew exactly how much he enjoyed it and how taken aback he was by it, because she was pretty much let know that she's on the next thing smoking because she was causing that much problems. And that is like the final Xiomara Shelby showdown moment where what Xiomara says, the vibe, the tone of it actually convinces Shelby to go on, but not before she lets her know, like, if you hurt him, you're gonna have hell to pay. Okay, Shelbs, now we know exactly how you feel about Quentin, because it wasn't necessarily clear. Like, they have this electric chemistry and they're definitely drawn to each other, but it is really not until we have that moment where Quentin goes to the airport and to profess his love to Shelby that you really understand how much these two characters really love each other and are actually made for each other. Now, what I will say is, up into the I love yous, the profession at the airport is so cringy. It's so love filled but steeped in hate, which is something that is very authentic to their relationship. Like, I thought that the writing was 100% spot on for Quentin's whole little speech about Shelby trying to stop her from getting on this plane, for that little emotional moment. And I thought that it created such a beautiful balance between the drama that comes with this series, this franchise, but then also the very light moments in the humor. Like, again, I just think that all of the dialogue, the setup, all of it was very, very true to the characters that we were dealing with. And I thought it was the perfect way for them to transition into this next thing for Shelby and Quentin. Now, I would have loved to see a little bit more before we got to the wedding and then actually into the wedding, but clearly we got things to do. This is episode 2 and we're already ending it with Quentin and Shelby getting married versus Xiomara. Xiomara is setting villas on fire on her way out. I'm sure that in the next 6 episodes, we're going to see a little bit more of the fallout of what it's going to look like to try to put Shelby and Quentin's lives back together. Again, when Shelby revealed that her daughter is actually Quentin's daughter, I was like expecting him to feel away because she's gone all these years and not told him. But he really just kind of like rolls with the punches. And I think that that could be something that could pop up later. I don't think that their drama as a couple or individual is over. But we will be shifting a little bit of focus because it's in this episode that Harper and Robyn, like the seeds that I started to feel and I talked about in my breakdown for episode 1, are starting to grow or bloom or poke their head up out the dirt a little bit, y'all, in episode 2. So Robyn is talking about staying on the island because she's enjoying it so much. This time that she's spending with Savannah, the chef that she met, and all that she's doing. And Harper realizing that he needed to put more focus on himself and their relationship and all that, brings him to the conversation about like staying or going, and she actually wants to stay, but we don't really get any type of reconciliation on that idea because she goes and jumps into the ocean feeling all free and hippy dippy like she is. And I'm just like, child, I fear that their little situation, their little relationship might be coming to an end. I think it's probably going to take the course of the entire season or this entire series to do, but they are just not aligned. And for them to have Jordan run up next to him, I don't know if I'm like reading too much into it or what, but like when she jumps off the boat, Jordan runs up next to him to watch her, and he's concerned, thinking something's wrong with her, and they're just standing there, and I'm just like, not y'all trying to give us the nuance of y'all gonna spin the block on Jordan and Harper. Do we still want Jordan and Harper to happen? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Oh, do we still have hope for Jordan and Harper? Were they supposed to be the thing that wasn't the thing, or that didn't happen? I can't. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as well as the subscribe button if you're not already, so that you don't miss out on any more of my The Best Man videos the moment that I post them, and so that you can stay up to date on the latest and hottest in television and film. The convo don't stop with The Best Man, y'all. What else happened in this episode? Candace and Murch get on the same page with their little tiff, but again, I don't think that they're going anywhere. Their relationship is very much so solid, but Murch does realize, and he speaks to how he needs to be more appreciative and see Candace. I think that the ashwagandha, whatever little herb that they took, the little medicinal plant that they drank that took them on that whole little trip at the top of the episode, I think that was interesting. So by the end of the episode, I had totally forgot that moment happened, but at that moment in the episode, that seemed like the biggest thing of the episode. And in it, okay, so Quentin and Xiomara, they get the group together to do this ashwagandha. Harper is like frantically typing on a typewriter, and then like it's almost manic in like the pages and discarding things. Shelby basically has to so she runs off to the bathroom. Murch can't move but can hear everything and can feel everything. Jordan is telling her whole truth to that little chocolate brother that kept pressing up on her, and Candace is having an enlightening experience that leads to an orgasm. And when I go back to think about what happened to each person, because when you take this drug, it's supposed to be something that like bridges the gap to further consciousness and really helps to enlighten you. I'm just like, okay, so how does this all tie into each of these characters and what they have next? Like, okay, cool. Harper's frantically typing his next book because he feels like all his work that he's been doing has been very trivial, very trite, and he's not an actual, like, he knows he's an author, but he doesn't look at himself as an acclaimed author that he is, because he doesn't feel like the work that he has done has been gritty enough. Shelby has to, because she's full of maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's just a little note. I made like a little notes now. It doesn't even matter, I guess. I might circle back to this moment if it comes up again, because again, I thought at the moment that I was watching it that this was going to be a big part of the episode, but the biggest part to me is the proclamation at the airport when Quentin is just like, I can't let my girl leave, I can't live without you, yada yada yada, and then they go ahead and get married. By the end of the episode, also everybody's together at the reception, and Harper gets the blessing of everybody to go ahead and do his film for the first book. Whew. Interesting. And those are my thoughts for episode 2, The Best Man, the last chapters. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of episode number 2? Are you binging it currently and then watching my video so that you can have a good conversation with your good sis? I love that for us. Also, did you know that Erica Vane TV is growing, and now we have Erica Vane TV 2? Link in the description box so you can head over there and give the second and equally dope channel a subscribe as well. Now I'm going to the comment section to see what y'all think about the episode. See you in the next one. Bye.